This is day 3 of this July 2025 7-day sesshin. We'll return to our text from yesterday, a book called The Original Face, an anthology of Rinzai Zen. And we were reading from the teachings of 13th century Chan master Daikaku from China. We left off where he was advising us to keep the eyes half open for greater clarity and alertness in the sitting. And then he kind of switches to a questioner. This is in dialogue form. He may have composed all the questions himself, but it's someone asking about all of the what we might call secondary Buddhist practices besides sitting, chanting, prostrations, sutra recitation, and so forth. I think it's important to understand the context of this. This 13th century China, there was a lot more than Chan in Buddhism in China. There were all kinds of other sects, and that's what this concerns coming up here. This is someone who probably has or may have this supposed questioner may have spent years doing these other disciplines. And he says, though I hear what you say, it's still hard to really believe. Only by accumulating the virtues of reading and reciting the sutras and spells, whichever that is, fasting, discipline, and reciting the Buddha's name, only through those things can we have something to rely on. How can there be anything special about peaceful meditation without doing anything? It's kind of an unfortunate translation, peaceful. How many people here think of their sitting as peaceful? Roshi Kappa used to say, in Zen, we talk not about we talk about the peace of the sword, not the peace of the grave. Peaceful, without doing anything. That also is certainly misleading. But let's let Daikaku clear up this. He says, such doubt is called activity causing birth and death. Such doubt is called affliction. Practicing everything without any sense of attainment is called the exceedingly profound, transcendent wisdom. This wisdom can cut off the source of birth and death like a sharp sword. We hear this wording a lot especially in Chinese Zen, the birth and death, the source of birth and death. It really means it's the wheel of samsara, the wheel of suffering. Or, in a word, maybe change. To practice virtue in hopes of reward is the illusion of ordinary people. Bodhisattvas do not seek for the resulting rewards as they cultivate virtue, because they cultivate it for the sake of impartial love and compassion, and thus it becomes sustenance for enlightenment. As for those who seek rewards as they cultivate virtue and attain the lesser reward of humanity or godhood, this is surely the work of birth and death. It leads to suffering. Now let's tackle another reference here. here in many other Buddhist texts is the 6 realms of unenlightened existence. The highest 2 are said to be the realm of devas and the realm of humans. The lower ones, starting at the bottom, is the realm of hell, hellish states, the realm of hungry ghosts and thirsty spirits, so you could say a realm of endless craving, addiction. The third one up is the realm of animals who are bound by their reactivity and always searching for food or territory. The fourth one up is the realm of fighting, translations, fighting demons, fighting spirits. Asuras is the word. This I see as those who are caught in a world where they have to be, if they're not on top of others, they're underneath. If they're not dominating others, they're subservient to others. And then the 2 highest, again, are considered that of the humans, and those are the devas. Devas just means the deva realm is a heavenly state. It's a state of luxury or privilege or enjoyment and ease. It's a state of ease, which is beyond the human realm, which we have so much suffering to contend with. And yet, the human realm, we have this capacity to reflect. We have this mind that can conceive of death, our death and our mortality, and gives us the possibility of doing something about that, of transcending the fear of death and being bound in other ways. So we know there are human beings who live in a state of great luxury and ease, and you could say that psychologically they're in a deva realm. But for most people, most of the time, if you consider people, the world around, it's a struggle being a human being, caught in dilemmas. The human realm is a realm of dilemmas. We can't have it all. How do we get what we need? How do we contend with desire and aversion, likes and dislikes? That's maybe a good way to sum up the human realm, likes and dislikes. So he'll refer, again, in the forthcoming pages to humanity or the human realm and the realm of gods or devas. So he refers to the lesser reward of humanity or godhood, deva existence. That means lesser than the reward of Buddhahood, of enlightenment. The human realm is also unique, according to our tradition, in that it is only from the human realm, with our ability to think and imagine and foresee the future. It's only from the human realm that we have the capacity to come to enlightenment. That places it pretty near the top of the 6 realms of unenlightened existence. And then the questioner, without accumulating virtue and good qualities, how can one become a Buddha? Buddha meaning an enlightened one. In the fullest sense, the fully enlightened one. And then Daikaku. It takes 3 incalculable eons to attain Buddhahood by accumulating virtue and good qualities. But if you practice the way of unity of cause and effect, you realize Buddhahood in one lifetime. Someone who illumines her own mind and awakens to her real nature sees that she herself is originally Buddha, not just now attaining Buddhahood for the first time. So back to this idea of accumulating virtue and good qualities. This was the predominant understanding in Buddhism of the 13th century, that if we can just do good, refrain from causing harm, then we can work our way up those 6 realms and have a pretty decent life. And who's to say that isn't true? I think that too often people in our Zen school laugh at the idea of merit. We draw from the encounter that Bodhidharma had with the Emperor of China, where the Emperor said, the Emperor who had been a great patron of Buddhism, he said to Bodhidharma, what merit have I gained? He wanted to be reassured. He wanted to be patted on the back by the great Bodhidharma. What merit have I acquired through my support of Buddhist monasteries and temples and monks? And to his shock, Bodhidharma is said to have replied, no merit at all. Now be careful not to take that literally. My understanding of this business is that we do accumulate merit by holding to the 6 paramitas, let's say. That's a good way of framing the kind of life that can accumulate merit. I'll get to the six paramitas, 6 perfections in a minute. Bodhidharma could see that the emperor was attached to the idea of merit, that the emperor was maybe complacent about all that he had endowed in the monasteries and so forth, and that he was maybe complacent in his Deva realm there as the emperor. You learn through the koans that the response of a master like that is he's not just explaining something, the difference between what's true and not true, but explaining or replying to the questioner based on that person, on his or her, what he or she needs to hear. Bodhidharma was answering in terms of the essential, the essence. It has nothing to do with merit. It's beyond the whole idea of cause and effect. This is what he felt the emperor needed to hear to bring some balance to his understanding of the Dharma. But introducing this idea of no merit beyond the emptiness aspect was what provoked so many in early Buddhism in China, because they had come to believe that it's all about doing virtuous acts, being a do-gooder. And then someone like Bodhidharma or the other masters complete the picture by talking about the other half. The other side of the coin is beyond cause and effect, right and wrong, good and bad. And that's what Daikaku here is also talking about. This our original Buddha nature has nothing to do with cause and effect, of doing the right things, or even practice. All of our neighbors here in Batavia, Stafford, their Buddha nature is no less because they don't practice. This is the equality aspect of reality. And then the questioner persists. Do those who realize Buddhahood, that just means enlightenment, do those who realize Buddhahood by seeing reality not depend on cause and effect? Shouldn't they cultivate virtue? Daikaku. Although those who realize Buddhahood by seeing into their true nature may cultivate virtue, they do it for others' benefit, not for rewards for themselves. Because they teach and help sentient beings change, they teach cause and effect. Because they know they have no personal gain, they don't depend on merit. This is the realm of no mind. What is no mind? If there is no mind at all, who sees reality? Who awakens to the way? And who can teach the way to others? Daikaku. No mind means that there is no deluded, foolish mind. It does not mean that there is no mind to discern false from true. If one doesn't think of sentient beings, doesn't long for Buddhahood either, doesn't think of illusion or seek enlightenment, doesn't go along with the honor of others, doesn't go along with isn't concerned about the reputation, does not hope for fame, profit, support, or reputation, does not shrink from attacks from those who are resentful or hostile, and does not add any discriminating thoughts about any good or evil, one is called a no-minded wayfarer. Let's rewind this now. If one doesn't think of sentient beings, here again, the glossary section of this teisho, that's just a reference to the unenlightened, so-called unenlightened. So if one doesn't think of anyone as being unenlightened, because no one is, by the way, doesn't, say, crave enlightenment as something one is attached to, a thought, doesn't think of illusion or seek enlightenment, doesn't hope for fame, profit, support, or reputation, does not shrink from attacks from those who are resentful or hostile, and does not set up discriminating thoughts about judgmental thoughts of good and evil. This is, he says, is no-mindedness. This is the realm of no-mindedness. It's different, by the way, from mindlessness. This translator uses them sometimes interchangeably, but I think it's unfortunate. I might think of mindless as someone who is just completely unaware, unresponsive, dull. So we can use this word no-minded. means acting and speaking, responding without a divided mind. That's I think a good way to think of it. With one's responding and acting with one's whole being. Doesn't mean shouting, but it means not divided. There's a koan where there's an old woman who has her tea table set up on the way to the holy mountain Wu Taishan, and the monks would stop there and ask for directions. They say, "What is the way to Mount Wu Tai?" And for each time she would reply, "Go straight on." You can understand that is, approach this mountain, this symbol of wisdom, no-mindedly, with an undivided mind. This response took on new meaning for me when I went to Wu Taishan myself on a pilgrimage in China, and it was a long trip. First plane, then train, and then a bus. The last 4 hours were bus on a country road, and that country road leading to Wu Taishan was one of countless curves. And here she is on that road saying, "Go straight ahead." Questioner, are there differences of more or less merit in fasting, following the precepts, reading and reciting the sutras, and chanting the Buddha's name? For those of you who are new to this, that's its own sect of Buddhism in both China and Japan, maybe Korea, of reciting the Buddha's name. It's a formula by which one can reach no-mindedness. Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu, Namu Amida Butsu. I place my faith in the Buddha Amida. That's the practice. It's not breath practice. It's not koan practice. It's reciting the Buddha's name. So he's asking about these other practices that are not orthodox Chan. And Daikaku replies, eating once a day only removes greed for food and results in great blessings and virtue in the coming life. Morality and discipline is also to stop bad states of mind and produce a good mental state. Those with good minds live in human and heavenly realms. There it is again, the humans and the devas, in the highest estates. Since those who read the sutras protect and maintain the teachings of the enlightened ones, these people will have great knowledge and wisdom in the coming life. Extolling their names, that's the reciting of the Pure Land school, extolling their names is taking refuge in the Buddhas, so in the coming life one will surely be born in a Buddha land. No mind, don't forget the hyphen there, no mind is the Buddha mind. The qualities of this enlightened mind cannot be reached by words or thought. It is truly inconceivable. He starts off here mentioning a couple of the six perfections, or the 6 paramitas. And these are a nifty way of kind of categorizing the kinds of behavior that leads to spiritual development and also reflects that spiritual development. It's both, you could say it's both cause and effect, these six. The first is giving, generosity. And this is often considered the most important of the six. And from a Zen perspective, we could say that in doing Zazen beyond thought, not just sitting and sifting through memories and plans, but really doing Zazen beyond thought is the highest kind of giving. Way higher than giving material things, although that is also part of generosity, this paramita, this perfection. What is the principal commodity, if you will? It's not a commodity. What is the highest kind of giving? It's giving our attention, right? Parents know this, or some parents. It's being there for your children, or spouses know this. Giving full attention to your spouse, to your children, to your parents, your siblings, as much as you can, that is. This is the highest form of generosity. And what is the ultimate attention? It's doing Zazen. Bringing our attention to focus in this realm of no mind. So that's the first, giving or generosity. Sometimes it's called charity. And the second is morality. You know, when we're doing Zazen, we're for sure not behaving in an immoral way. You could say Zazen also encompasses morality. The third is Kashanti, it's called. It's often translated as patience. I think a better translation right now that I would think of is forbearance. As I understand it, patience is a milder kind of virtue, just being patient, waiting in line in the supermarket, being patient, good thing to do. Be patient, don't be impatient. What does that do for you or anyone, being impatient? So that's patience. Forbearance, from what my reading shows me, is more patience or endurance in the face of aggression, or when someone is doing you wrong. I guess that would work too for a parent when their child is tantruming. That's forbearance. Or when someone is driving aggressively in traffic, that's forbearance. Just getting beyond it. That kind of patience. Patience, if patience is waiting patiently in line, forbearance is not reacting when someone cuts in line in front of you. The fourth of the six paramitas, perfections, is effort, sometimes translated as zeal. We're not going to change. No one changes without effort. I don't think I need to say anything more about that. Everyone here knows what's called for in evolving through Zen practice. It takes effort. Effort to stay with the practice, just to put a fine point on it. Not straining. It doesn't have to be straining or being tense, but mentally to keep making the effort to return to the practice when there's resistance of thoughts, and thoughts that are tugging you away from the practice. It takes effort. The fifth of the 6 perfections is concentration. Okay, I don't think we need to comment on that. And then the 6th is wisdom. So I would say that yes, consciously cultivating these 6 perfections is a wonderful thing. You'd be a better person, better neighbor, better parent, better child, better citizen by cultivating these. Do so. But Daikaku is making the point that it's this no-mindedness, the real essence of Zen goes beyond consciously trying to be a good person. We don't have to settle for just cultivating these things, trying hard to be good. And then just to repeat the last sentence here that we read, no mind is the Buddha mind. That is, where there is no thought of oneself trying to be good. The qualities of this enlightened mind cannot be reached by words or thought. It is truly inconceivable. We dip into this inconceivable realm when the mind is free of concepts, free of thoughts. Thoughts come, thoughts are always bubbling up, but not attaching to them, not deliberately trafficking in thoughts. I'm skipping a few pages here, which is a little bit heavy with Buddhist doctrine. I don't want to lose more people than I've already lost. The questioner says, in knowing and seeing one's own fundamental inherent nature, he's talking about enlightenment, the knowing and seeing can be known, but what about inherent nature itself? This is Daikaku. Because all sentient beings, remember that means supposedly unenlightened beings, because all sentient beings have a fundamental nature, it supports their own bodies. This true nature has never been born, never dies, has no form or shape, is permanent and unchanging. This is called fundamental inherent nature. Since this inherent nature is the same as that of all Buddhas, it is called Buddha nature. The 3 treasures, that is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and 6 kinds of sentient beings, we went through those, the 6 realms of unenlightened existence, all have this nature as their basis, and from which come to be all things. Question: what is turning the light around to shine back? Illumining outward things, one's own light is turned back to shine on the inner self. Here too is the limitation of words. There's no inner self as compared to an outer self. There aren't 2 selves. We do distinguish between our essential self, our essential nature, and our other smaller self. But inner self, it fosters this idea that our Buddha nature is inside us. Our Buddha nature is not that small. It's not inside us more than outside us. He continues, the mind is bright as the light of sun and moon, immeasurable and boundless, shining on all inner and outer lands. Where the light does not reach is dark. This is called the ghost den on the Black Mountain, the abode of all ghosts, which can hurt people. The mind phenomenon is also like this. The light of knowledge of the mind essence is infinite and boundless and illumines all things. Where the light does not reach is called the shadow world of ignorance, the skandhas and the four elements, the abode of all afflictions, which can harm people. The knowing mind is the light. Errant thoughts are shadows. The light illumining things is called shining, and when the mind and thoughts do not range over things but are turned toward the original nature, mu, what am I? What is this? Breath. When the mind and thoughts do not range over things but are turned toward the original nature, this is called turning the light around to shine back. It is also called panoramic illumination. Illumining the whole of the immediate substance, it is where neither delusion nor enlightenment have ever appeared. It is that division that we use provisionally between delusion and enlightenment. It's beyond that, beyond all such divisions. Nowadays, people think of basic mind by means of errant thoughts and consider afflictions enjoyable. When will they ever escape birth and death? It's may take a little stretch of the mind to understand who would want to consider, who would see afflictions as enjoyable, but really it's all around us. You see it sometimes even humorously in advertising, where they play up the whole idea of wanting more, craving. Someone told me recently there's something or other called Crave they're trying to sell. I don't know if it's a perfume or something else, but it doesn't matter. It's the world of commerce and marketing. We can have this perverse need to crave. That's one affliction. A perverse need to be frightened. A perverse need to get worked up and furious about others and their opinions. These things for people whose lives are dull or who need to feel strong and alive. These passions, these blind passions, can, in a perverse way, be enjoyable. Question: the essence of sitting meditation is the non-production of a single thought. Trying to stop thought by thought is like washing blood with blood. What should we do? So the questioner here is putting his finger on a very, very basic mistake in meditation is trying to stop our thoughts. You all know this, right? You all know that that is a mistake. We're not, in Zen practice, we're not trying to stop our thoughts. They don't need to be stopped. They will evaporate on their own through single-minded absorption in the practice. Don't make war on your thoughts. Don't despise your thoughts. They're just little soap bubbles coming up into the mind. Don't make too much of them. Don't fight them. They're just shadows. Don't go shadow boxing on the mat. But now Daikaku's reply. The non-production of a single thought is what is known as the original essence of the mind. It is not stopping thought, yet it is also not stopping thought. It is just the non-production of a single thought. In other words, not generating thoughts unnecessarily, not weaving together thoughts on the mat. If you merge with this original essence, this is called the realization of thusness of the reality of things, okay? Thus, even sitting meditation is no use here. There is no illusion, no enlightenment. So how could there be thoughts? Here he's again reminding us of the essential truth. The essential truth is that there is nothing. All of this world of thingness, the phenomena around us, the physical things, people, ourselves, our own bodies, our thoughts, our dreams, all of it is, in essence, nothing. Void. This is what awakening reveals, confirms. The thoughts have no substance to them. Nothing has any enduring substance to it. We are deceived by our senses. My sense of touch tells me that this has substance to it. And in a way it does, but not essentially it doesn't. In essence, it's just flux. It's change. We are change. Our bodies are ceaselessly changing. Our minds are ceaselessly changing. If you do not know this original essence, you can't help but produce thoughts. Even if you suppress them so they don't arise, this is all still ignorance. It is like a rock lying on the grass. Before long, the grass will grow again. You should work on meditation most meticulously and carefully. Don't take it easy. And our time is up. We'll stop and recite the 4 vows.